Punto.
¿Hay alguien en el punto?
Sí, una fara.
Ah, que tiene la skin de. Ah, qué fuerte. Yo quiero esa.
¿Cuál? ¿De qué?
La que no tiene, la de Symmetra. La de. Esa es Symmetra Warframe, totalmente. Symmetra Lotus.
Sí, me trago así, vale.
Espérate, voy a hacer ya.
Vale, como tienen, claro, tienen una para mis cosas.
Good morning. Oh. You know what? Yeah, I had some white text. I moved that down on the screen. We're kind of done with it anyway. Also, we're going to be kind of done with you, I think. So initially, this is going to be a little bit of research. I did a little bit on this before. So there's this, which seems to be, well, it was down last time we looked at it. I think this was JSONP. Here's an off-the-shelf thing, although I might just make my own just to kind of see how it works. Even though that would be technically be a faster way to do it. That's the one we're currently using. Apogee isn't like an API intermediary thing. I may also, and maybe Lambda could do that, but then maybe the API gateway you'd have to wrap around Lambda could just do it directly. Here's a list of them, probably. Enable CORS.org. That might be an interesting thing to look at. Nginx. Maybe that would be a piece of it. Okay, so yep, you are no good. Okay, well that's a super simple one if we need to do that. Now I don't know that that would work in Lambda because you're actually starting up a server there. Okay, we can play around with doing hosting as a Docker container. This is... Oh, yeah. Well, build failing isn't that interesting. The same project. Oh. But if you run this on your own site, then it's not a cross-origin request for you. %95 solution. Okay, let's get a little problem here, but the real problem is entirely outside your control. Corporate firewall proxies. Removes HTTP headers. Ooh. Yeah, so this is the full same server proxy. Now, at the moment, I just want something to add the CORS headers. And if that happens to be on my website where things that I also post there work, then great. API proxy. Add CORS. So API proxy is a specific feature of their service. History. Yeah, there's no real reference to proxying. Let's get. I think cross-origin me is when we said it was dead. Oh, HTML driven isn't SSL, is it? Too left for to cry. Thank you for the host. Only went listed task cluster.net. support both JSONP and CORS. Or that SSL EU CORS proxy. Okay, so we got that one little. There's that. Switch proxy? Jeez. Okay, so that's an interesting list. Oh, and here's test cluster. And this task cluster CORS proxy. Maybe? Maybe it's the same one? I didn't see who the owning site was. Of course, I'm not. That's literally Apache. So, enable CORS. Browser support. Credentials. Create CORS request. X domain request. Oh, this is like some special. You're not sent any cookies by default. Aha. Okay, browsing a server. Chrome extensions. Ah. Involved. Huh. Okay, that's front-end JavaScript. This might be Docker specific. All right, so one of the things I wanted to look in was AWS API. See if there's a specific thing for that. CORS for an API Gateway resource. Oh, and then here's the thing specifically there. Oh, and there's enable CORS. Access control. Okay, but yeah, I mean, I can definitely see. Access control origin. Required headers for Lambda or HTTP proxy integrations. Your integration response is disabled for the proxy integration. Method request. Restrictions and limitations. Okay, headers. Following headers may be remapped. X Amazon remapped and sent to your integration endpoint or sent back to your by your integration endpoint. Portion the entire endpoint. For Lambda or HTTP proxy. You can still set up the required options, however, you must can leverage a and using options. Lambda or HTTP proxy, you can still set the required options response header, for you must rely on the back end to return because the integration response is disabled. Options headers. Integration response is disabled for proxy integration. Well, one of these articles was talking about doing it. API proxy. Create method. Writing query string. Enable CORS. Our API is also set to not allow CORS requests. Create method. The API we want to route. Routing query string parameters. So I might have to set up, because well, yeah, because you have to specify something for who you're getting this about. Hosting clips. TMI, include logins. Oh. Do I still have this URL handy? I didn't even notice that. Oh, just host ID and target ID. I'm pretty sure that I was using the display names from that. Yep. That's button. Partial behavior only for 200 answer. Ignoring jQuery header support. It is about avoiding the use of CORS button and set configurations manually. This can be achieved. Oh, interesting. This must be repeated. Add options method. Add integration is type mock. Go to response method. For each response code, set response headers to. CORS request has been successfully enabled. Alright, so we've got you and we've got you, which is a little bit even more detailed. Well, that's the enable CORS button, which they say has limits. Alright, so let me just log in over here. AWS.Amazon console. Sign in. All right, API Gateway. And actually, we're going to be doing some reference stuff here, so maybe we can do something like that. Create all REST resources. Well, we've only got a single call. Create all resources. Oh, that's right, I was just coming on this. TMI.twitch.tv hosts. New API, clone from existing API. Example API. Do you think Swagger is a description format? Yeah, this is from mine. So this is going to be my name. Oh, I was originally thinking like a wildcard proxy. That might take something more interesting. I don't know if you can take a URL in a Well, let's try a no, let's try a limited example. Create all REST resources. Oh, this is just CORS on the gateway. This one is specifically about proxy. Get. Lambda function HTTP. Return a response purely using mapping and transformations. HTTP get. And they actually had the slash on there. This is not a general. Didn't they see something in the docs? Enable CORS. HTTP. I guess we need to start simple. Should be set to convert to text if needed. Now he was doing this for a specific API. I can't imagine we're ever going to need binary. Routing query string parameters, which in fact we need. So is this live updating or is the buttons off the screen? Hit query execution, method request. So we need to allow include logins and target. Method execution. Integration request. Oh. URL path parameters. Path power to sent from the client in the method request can map by API Gateway to URL path parts integration request. Method request.path. Method request.path query string header. So we could do request.path. Explicitly given to the parameter in the method request section. Well, we can try substituting path later. URL query string parameters. Oh, okay. So that's mapped. All right, so now we need to, I think we need to publish this to test it. Hi. Return to method execution. Is my save button off the screen again? Target. You can define parameters by using the syntax. Okay, so at this level we're fine. Which means we could actually go back to... is it method request? Execution. Edit. No, not documentation. Edit documentation. Method request. Integration request. Aha. Wait, URL path parameters. What do we call this? Section? Method? API? Endpoint contains parameters that are not defined in the resource path. So that means here, right? Mapped from. The URL path part. Method did request that param location. So path dot method. Invalid mapping. That my param. API Gateway path parameters. Mapping templates. Oh. Method is the name of a thing. Nope, still not happy. Wait, did I? Yep, it's still not happy. Oh, I still have to update this as well. Yeah, section is still not happy. Yeah, query string name mapped from Do I? Oh, this is method execution. Do I have to do something with method request? URL query string. Maybe it's dot path is just dot path. Invalid mapping expression. Yeah, this does not seem relevant to what I'm doing. To that might get to the capture end of it. Resources integration request. Body mapping templates. Invent.param1. Authorization. Query string parameters. Method.request.path dot MSDN. API Gateway reference. Get pets1. Get pets pet ID. Oh wait, this is slash. Oh. So we would have to set up slash path. Would that be a resource? Or I guess I could set up hosts as this is create resource. So I could at least leave room to add more. Handle requests to all sub-resources in a greedy path parameter. any method. Well, Jellybean, thank you for the host. They're configuring your resource. Add path parameters using brackets. Configuring /proxy as a proxy resource. Add any new method to handle requests on /. Add a new any method on the / resource. Resources, methods. Can I edit this resource? Okay, create a resource. Create method, create resource. No methods defined for this resource. So I can't edit this. Oh man, that's create method, create resource, delete resource. And they give you this one. Which you can't delete. Can add path parameters using brackets. Now, method is the name that they use for one of their API things. Well, no, but it's that method. Configuring /proxy plus as a proxy resource to its sub-resources. Now, they were saying in one of these other articles, okay, unfortunately this button has a partial behavior only for 200. Ignoring jQuery header support. Avoid using the CORS button inside a configuration manually. So this would be DMI twitch.tv. Oh, missing parameters. They require you to actually put that on. Okay. So actually this Delete method. Kind of don't want. So this is the any, because it's doing a proxy. Might work. So what were they saying? Create list resources, select a resource. Oh, add an options method. Go to resource method. Oh, right, because it won't have an options. Create method, options. Integration type. Oh. We don't have mock as an option, which I think is one of the things that article is talking about. I would expect this to be able to override particular things. Lambda function proxy. I mean, I could make my own dummy resource that returned options. So in order to do a wildcard on the URL, well, this is my own proxy. So I don't have to use URL parameters. It would have been nice, but it seems that it is somewhat limited. So we create a method for options. You have type mock. Create all REST resources. We created the resource technically. Get is going to be an HTTP get. Contains parameters that are not yet defined in the resource path. Can this only be resource path? Proxy be proxied to your HTTP endpoint. What does that mean? So I actually do have to specify. Well, let's go back to this. So options. For each method of a resource, go to response method. Because this is assuming everything is already defined. So this is the specific, well, this is just options. So, oh, and this is the only 200 part, isn't it? Response headers. Response method, add header. X requested with. Okay. Or is it a multi-line? No, enter just doesn't do anything. X requested with. Access, control, allow. This is apparently a... I mean, I think origin is really all we need. Because this is just an example. Because I don't think these really matter, and I might need to do methods. I don't think I was seeing that in my other things. Is the save button hiding on me again? No. Integration response. Select one of the created options. Header mappings. Looks like we have to quote to set star. All right, so this will touch that much. Then we have to also do that on get. Header mappings to star. Now I think that this is where we do have to do all the header query string. Right, because you actually have to have those things to do them in test mode. No path parent you can define by using the syntax in a resource path. So my question is, can we do something like URL request validator assigned to this method is not configured to validate parameters? Select an appropriate request validator. Okay. Now this might not, yeah, I don't know if you can actually do a full method execution integration request, get, endpoint URL. Can you do method.request.url? Request dot, what was it? Query string. Valid HTTP endpoint selected. Can I do method.request.query string dot, I mean, just sort of something that I've got right now that are not define the resource path. So, you cannot define mock requests if you do a path proxy. If you do a path proxy, everything has to go through to the thing you're proxying, which is, I mean, I guess you could still have a Lambda function doing something. And still, unless you could mock out individual parts of it. But it looks like in order to do a generic CORS proxy, now I could make one specifically for TMI. And actually even looks the thing that's going to have to be TMI hosts, because well, no. Because I've still got my any response. Create resource. So HTTP endpoint URL proxy and then on any we do cannot be configured to transform responses, and this is where we would put in and that must be the proxy flag you've been able to do on the other one. That is where you would put in the value for the access control origin field. All right, so I think options is set up. We've added our header mapping to that. Actually, I think we added this one too. It was method request, where we needed to trash that because it doesn't seem to work. And support include log. You know what? If this is going to be a TMI, since I have no way to wildcard the path, what we would do is we would create this. Hosts. We would actually, I think, get rid of these. Because we're not really going to do anything on that. And then you have add method options mock. Method response. Access control allow origin. Integration response. Quote star. Create method get, which is a HTTP, and proxy integration is the thing that was messing me up before. Since this is specifically the host 3 source, we can do the full path. So now you need to also have, you know, I saw one of the people I was looking at for a host one time. I think it was Terraform that allowed you to do code to specify this stuff, and I'm seeing a lot of repetition here, especially when you're playing around with different options. All right, and now method request. Now, I guess for our purposes, we could actually probably just build in include logins, but hey, it's an option. So you have to define it. And target. Target should probably be, well, maybe you could do host equal and get all the people, your host, you can only host one person, but still. So we'll just leave that alone. Wait, is that a leftover thing? Integration request? That must be left over from one of my earlier attempts. But actually, I do need to be here. Mapped from... Oh, okay. Cool. Now, why they don't let you... Oh, maybe the proxy integration is what forced... It seems... Oh, and the wildcard forced you to use proxy integration. Alright, so now we can test this. Once again. Alright, so we have something that works for one endpoint. Oh. That's the body. Alright, so now can we... I can totally make a tester a staging later. Alright, when I'm going to look at headers. Oh man, you are cramped. We want to be able to include logins equals 1 and target equals that. No, I just copied that again. You've actually got a GUI for this, but missing authentication token? What? SDK settings. API key required false. Resource policy. .403 expired token. No authorizers. Tags. As long as we get to 200. Trying to directly access API link. Access key and secret key. Oh, so that's its response, because I just took that thing, and we actually had to do the host resource within this link. So that was just a really weird. Okay. So now, oh, this is still a CORS proxy, but I don't need to do a wrapper. Oh, yep, there's no CORS unwrap. So, yep. Do you. If we want to get fancy later, we could. Yeah, I mean, I might want to wrap that somewhere. And why don't we even name this? Oh well. Then fetch hosts. CORS workaround. We don't need CORS unwrap. This was having to be compiled. No, actually you're here, so you're fine. Bin monitor. Oh, I need to do my parameters on here. Oh, actually, I've still got, and that's a bunch of extra fetching I don't need to do. And basically, I just need to see if I fetch anything. Oh, and I don't have the debugger anymore. Bad payload. Unexpected end of JSON input. Oh, no, there is a wrapper around here, wasn't? Oh, did I not actually compile yet? Looks like I compiled. Who are we asking for this from? Oh, my CORS workaround. Was for that. Oh, so actually this becomes not a CORS workaround, but a fetch hosts URL. That's where I need my compiler window to see what I messed up. So this doesn't need to be encoded. All right, and then if I wanted to get fancy, Oh, you know what? I don't even necessarily need to make this. Yeah, if I wouldn't even need the allow origin headers, if I was able to set up a path for this on my domain, well, and then host it at my domain. So there is that. Oh, yeah, this is also not an open proxy. This is just a TMI proxy. So actually having a nice name for that would be cool. But we don't need any of that stuff. I hope I didn't pull in any libraries for this. The other thing I'm sort of curious about. So you're another different. They're non-Helix APIs. I guess it makes sense not to use the Helix thing for it. So that is a personal proxy-ish. It only works for one API. All right, so that's authentication token. Method request. Resources method. Huh. Maybe that's a different API. Is that data mappings? URL path parameters. Query string parameter header parameter in the HTTP proxy parameter name. Path parameter. So that's where they come from. All right, well, I guess wildcard proxy might be a little bit too challenging. Unless... Well, no, all right, I have too many windows. So this was... All right, options for off-the-shelf things. This is documentation. Oh, that was actually one of our useful things. Well, we basically got it working now. But I seem to have... Oh, this is actually going to sit here and hit it, isn't it? So we'll return to you later. We seem to have closed our Amazon window. That's Lambda. Right, if you define, well, no, if we define, so let's just make a new resource so don't mess anything up. Although, really there's not a whole lot to a resource, I think. HTTP, do not use proxy integration. Oh, it's probably going to complain at me that I have to have an endpoint URL. That are not defined in the resource path. So you can't use query string parameters. API Gateway query string parameter in path. To Lambda. Query string to path. Can use it. You can do it directly using basic request mapping. Method request. Add query string. URL URL path. Oh, so you have to define the path parameters. So is this just an early warning thing here? No. To be HTTPS, but so this is request. We need not gonna worry about required yet. Integration request. Path parameters. Method.request.queryString.url. Must be unique. Why do they even have separate variables? Not defined in the resources path. Method execution, integration request. They must be doing something else. I want a new window, but okay. That was a URL that got removed. path parameter. Your API with the resource having path article. Oh, he's saying not ID equals. Edit your to add the path parameter. Are we allowed to do? Maybe I have to make that a required method because it goes into the URL. Kind of wish I could do query string only. Creation response. Oh. It warned me about it. Oh, that's not even an actual variable. Oh, no, that one it will actually hard block. Invalid HTTP endpoint. Yep. All right, so this project got a little bit simpler. Personal proxy for TMI. Take a quick check to see if anybody responded to the question about yeah, seeking mature flag, 0 responses. Just as long as I'm here. Deep metadata. Is there any public? Well, yeah, I mean, I guess that could have been handy to auto-generate the category definition. Oh, that's for this thing. Okay. So, yeah, nothing there yet. So the other thing I was thinking of playing around with, just because it's something I've been wanting to play around with, well, you know what? I should look up the other... just in case it leaves up a window. We're kind of done with you for now. Here's some information. We're done with you for now. I mean, we might need that. So a couple of these. Proxy request. That was for your own server. This might have been a fork of the other one. Lib. Oh, logger options. No, it must be in the root. Server.ext on add CORS headers. Happy CORS headers. Instead of own implementation. Okay, so actually if we look back in history, we can see 90, wow. So this used to have all this stuff. I suppose you could customize. So yeah, it's not that much. Right, and archived. Oh, okay. The other thing I was looking at is just one of the things I've been wanting to look at for a little while is Erlang. And while this is a kind of a trivial thing, it would be some basic stuff. So we first need Erlang web server. See how that works. Simple web server. HTTP server. Now, if I got this to work, I would then have to answer the question of, okay, oh, well, that would be if you have a certificate for it. So you'd have to post it somewhere that could do proxying for you, probably. This is like erlang.org. So we actually have to do a little bit of backtracking into some sample Erlang code. So anyway, I do have an Erlang book, but that wouldn't be very good for streaming. I guess, okay. Prerequisites? Oh, this is communities in general. Okay, so this does not include getting started as in getting it installed. Open source Erlang site. I've been at erlang.org. Erlang solutions. Okay. So do I have to do it up here? No, that is the... Oh, maybe. Oh, no, I just have to scroll down. Okay. Installing Erlang. Oh, did that reset my options? Oh, that is the link. Okay. It looked like a drop-down box. Oh, you're a little bit of a big boy. Okay, actually, did I? Okay, I did not. And now we go back to... Yep. Now I'm focused on that browser tab, browser window. So now we actually do kind of want to do... Oh, that was a different site I was at. Okay. Huh. Okay. Efficiency guide. Online documentation. System principles. Wait, if that's Erlang. It's www.erlang.org. This is erlang.org. Oh, /doc. Okay. And this doesn't link back to anything. So is it erlang.org/doc? So I mean, reference manual is going to be useful. And this assumes you've gotten started, but we have math. Halt. I'm probably going to need to find some examples on the web stuff and then just figure out the API for... Also, let's update title. Where'd it go? Update information. There we go. All right, there's module, there's export declarations. Parenthesis arguments, arrow. Oh yeah, that's right. Erlang derived from prologues. You've got these like or and end of statement things that act as separators. I hope this isn't going to force me to read. Sometimes when I install things that it modifies path, then you have to reboot to get everything working properly. There I have one. Compile the file. So you can do interactive compilation. Nifty. Oh, also, one of these things had something about editor integration. Oh, Erlang indentation. Oh, this is like fancy stuff. Plugin. Code indentation. Initially, I just wanted some. Maybe we'll just try it and see how it works out. All right, so installers, you just need to mess with a bunch of stuff, and I've been playing with controlled folder access, which is in Defender settings. No, it's updates. We want settings. Got its own tab. Okay, I guess they're saying it's already present. Earl HRL beam, fine. Documentation. Sure. I don't seem to have a path. Hopefully it's yeah, sometimes these installers don't handle the contrast colors very well. There we go. Megabytes, not a big deal. Start menu. This installer actually seems to handle the high contrast colors somehow. All right, well, while that runs, I want to take a short break. So let me get that. I want to switch you over. Get that off. Get you there. And I'll be back in a few minutes.
Can't catch these things? Oh my god, but you can fly on them. Okay, guys. We're going. We're going for a lift. This might actually kill me. Oh, fuck. Well, didn't kill me. We're gonna...
Should be running. Fucking outright. Oh, that's fucking hilarious.
Yeah, man. It's
or fucking stuff his truck. What's he done?
He's just got in a fucking dumper truck thing and driven straight at
He's
him.
pushing me out of the way. He's literally pushing me out of the way. Oh my.
Where'd you go? Baby! It doesn't get far without a tit. Right? Don't know if it was hungry or scared. Ooh. Somehow I found I was able to wrap my hair up real quick. I already died by snake, but okay, let's go before another kid pops out. I don't want to disappoint them.
But I'm the kind of person who likes to max out stats. Okay, so I must not assigned that one before, and this I messed up on. Okay, oh, we're not at full speed. There we go. I've got the chat window.
What should we do? Should we just go running in, guns blazing, see what happens? And if I put frag grenades on, stim up quick, do a quick save.
Well, I seem to have bungled something about the mic not present logic in my mic check thing. So I need to make a note to work on that. No, that's web. OBS script mic check. Mic not present. Alarming for state active, something like that. Okay. So that should be done. Now, they were talking about doing this in a console. So our installer's done. So I can only guess that a new Git console is not going to be happy with that based on my prior experience. So documents. Erlang, CORS, Proxy. Windows Explorer. Wow. That one surprises me. All right. What was the C Windows Explorer? And I'd swear I'd done that before. Or I've done things with Windows before. Erlang CORS proxy. What? Okay, fine. I've done these, right? Rename. Is that the... What is the regular command? Syntax of the command. The weird thing is I've created folders down here before. Is there something weird because I changed settings while I had this open? What the heck? I've never had that problem before. And we added the stinking program. That's just a bug, I think. Because I obviously made lots of folders here. Alright, so now, do you have access? Nope. Do you have access? Nope. So I have to do that myself. So as one of our C program files, I didn't... No, it did say 64. Back reports. Now one option would just be to set up a virtual environment and do it there. Although I'd still have to do some degree of setup, I think. Bin. Oh wait, maybe it's not Earl. Not that Earl. So we need to add this to the search path. Environment. Path. Now this is where you might have to get into some wait till I can reboot situations. Alright, so you are, and this was halt? Okay. But I suspect that you, yep, are going to have to wait until I reboot. So what I really need, so this is core language stuff, which we're definitely going to need. Reference manual, probably going to need. Those are books. Clients and servers. So that's straight up documentation. This is a... Well... This is server. Yes, this is the general concept of servers. Note application configuration to start an HTTP server application startup. Oh, so this is a generic, like, Apache style server. Enables execution of CGI scripts. What the? Dynamic web pages. Erlang server interface. URL calls an Erlang URL function is the following syntax. No. Erlang Web Server API. Handling an HTTP request. Do load, store, remove. New config directives. I feel like authentication database. Server interface. Yeah, maybe web server would get more. Simple web server. HTTP server. Maybe Yaz is more like. Web programming. Okay, so that's like a super low level socket thing. I needed some. Check out Mochi Web. Create dynamic web content. Gen web server. Lightweight HTTP servers. Okay, this is going to be pretty lightweight. Nope, that's here. So, is there examples? HMAC API, Amazon style HMAC authentication. So I mean that would be some request response stuff. Server cert, HTTPS store. So this is where you have to get your own certificate. For get method, headers equal complete resource loop. And send after Hong Kong. And the message arrives. Broadcast server. Oh, right, yeah, because WebSockets have to be connected. Yeah, this is going to be fairly different from what we're trying to do. This might be the closest to a... Oh. Okay. I thought the API would be the thing. Authorize request. Oh, this might be just the signing. Well, there is a get header. Yeah, it's just the exchange. All right. Gen web server. No examples, though. Server user? Oh, maybe there's some sort of auto documentation on this? No, this is very high level documentation. Oh, this was benchmarking probably... This is fairly old, though. Start, inet start. Yeah, this is very... Well, I mean, you've got modules. Modules have to be code, right? So as long as there was an interface to define your own modules... Yeah, this is... You would effectively be able to do it. Generic web server behavior. Gen server. Clients and servers. There's yaws. Oh, it's a screencast. I don't know if I want to sit around for that. Well, you know what? That's on their server, but hey, maybe they actually have good examples. This is from 2008. Adding Erlang code and static pages. Applications. Its own document root. This might be so focused on the standard web app use case you can't do higher level redirection. I don't know. Arg post for this URI. Accept header. That might work. Web services that have to interact with their backend services. Erlang OTP applications. Traditional web server on top of a relational database. It's a framework. Added web server and other application. So that'd be standalone. News. Build, configure, and run dynamic content. That's and return different values. I'm not really sure I want that kind of embedded content. Let's return. Status, all headers, content. Embedded Erlang code. I want more of an application server model? This is like a document-based model. Ordinary with some optional information. Doc root, arg, rewrite mod. Registry implementation amnesia. App mods. Yep, app mods. Access the URL, server name, yapx. Where does it specify that it's at yapx? I'm wondering if control is a typo there. Ellie. Rack style request response. Receiving data address given the socket. Middleware. Own process. Low latency apps. Prove on it. Acceptor turns into request handler. Binaries only. There are a few very mature and robust projects. Not a general purpose web server. Fast and lightweight server. Avoid using where messages are absolutely necessary. So it might not be super efficient. Middleware to do much heavy lifting. Okay, so that is the README. Okay, here's some installation. Yeah, so now this is the kind of like getting started documentation I was looking for. So it looks like we're going to have to do we have rebar 3? We do not. Ah, depreciated rebar 3. And it has a website. So this has to be downloaded. You can get the binaries. So is that a Windows executable or what? Use code that a rebar 3 command file is added. Oh, this is an Erlang script. eScript, which is apparently compiled Erlang of some sort. Directory bin. So arguably, well, I'll be in a terminal emulator a lot of the time, but it's not working yet for Erlang. New release, my release. Writing apps. Interesting project structure. Do I have a local bin yet? Bar3 command. You have this, you do not have this. Oh, if it's... Well, that would be home directory, so which is... Actually, I'm not sure if it has the same effect on Windows, but that would work. Okay, I do have a bin, which probably means I've got a path. Let me remember half the stuff I put in here. You just copy one of these, right? Can Explorer change this one? So that's the dot command, which I guess means this thing would have to go here? Echo off, set local, set rebar script. Is that F0 or FO? F0. Rebar script command equals %. Pixel Logic, thank you for the host. Of course, the way things have been going, that probably means it's about time for me to wrap up too. Alright, so I think I had bin in my path already. Well, that worked. Okay. New release, creating a new project. CD docs, CD. So, what I'm trying to do today is I just, I was playing around with proxies for CORS stuff, and I was like, I've always kind of wanted to poke into Erlang. I don't know if this is a good place to start, but it's where I'm going to try to start. This might actually go on to a different day. I don't know if that different day will be right away, because I solved my immediate problem. Bar 3, new release. Is it supposed to be like 000 or my release.app? Let's see if basic usage explains this. Okay. Or is it an umbrella project? Libraries. Contain multiple top-level applications. I don't think I'm going to have multiple projects. New template project name. App. Not a lib, an umbrella. Oh, yeah, we don't want to do release. Single application project can be built as a runnable script. Maybe? I don't know. But we want, I think, new app. Okay, so the syntax of this suggests that I should actually be down a directory. And now it's going to complain. Because it's not going to be allowed to change things. I'll be back to you in a minute. We'll see what application it complains about. New app. Erlang, CORS, Proxy. Isn't an unquoted Erlang atom. Oh. So it is the Erl.exe. Local disk, program files, Erl, bin, Erl. So we need to rename our. We can just kind of get rid of our project folder at this point. Do I have one open for this? Ish. This is the pattern that Elm liked, but not. Can I delete this? I couldn't rename it. Where'd my command go? Alright, so it's given me a .app, a app.source, an app and a support. Listed in under the depths. And compile. So you had a install instructions based on rebar. Yeah, too far off. Depths. LE. And then we're already in here. Failed to fetch and copy dep. Oh, okay. So, didn't we just add you? Maybe this window has to be restarted. Well, we need to make sure this path is right. Event viewer. These dialogues are terrible. They don't tell you anything. Bin Earl. That's what we just added. AD documents, Erlang, rebar 3. Failed to fetch and copy dep. Hello, Willard. I'm glad you like watching me fail at computers. I already added an exception for you. I think. Imagine these are ordered in some way. Or maybe I didn't. Earl.exe. R? Well, this is me trying to figure out how to install it. Maybe I should just like go back to Vagrant and try to get it working there first. What I'm not getting is why. Yeah, controlled folder access seems to be not working right now. I mean, even Windows Explorer was blocked for a little bit. So I may have to like reboot and try that a later. Documents. Path process name. Now, if that's the process name, that's what it's basing the filter on, right? Has been blocked. Yeah, guess I'm gonna have to try rebooting later. Because Defender is very confused. Alright, so we installed the dependency. Start link, callback, example callback. I say it's built in an example. And learn right callback module is LB example callback. It's generated documentation. Include le.hrl. le handler. So handle rec args. Okay, so yeah, Erlang functions can have, well, I forget if it's completely fluid or just different arities. But they basically reuse the same function for both, which is interesting. Probably not strictly required, I would think. Well, no, because we get rec args, and then they use method path rec and ignore args. LE request path. So that's probably taking request and giving you that nice broken out version. Use instead of 200. I'd probably stick with 200. So I think that is status header's body. Add LA to a supervisor. It's probably for more complicated applications. So start link, callback, LE example callback. So is that the module name? And the function within it? No, it's handle. What's callback? I guess callback is a method in the library? Behaviors, LE handler. Oh, handle 2, handle event 3. Okay. And this one is just, yeah, just handle 2. See also, oh, handle 3, which I guess is an unexported function. Oh, okay. Yeah. See also, but it's not documented, sorry. Handle event, event args, callback args. Alright, so example callback. So this is minimal. Handle. And this uses the same way to break it out. LE request get arg. Okay. Get hello world. Get arg. Actually, there's something here that does the URL schemes. No, they don't really say what you can throw at this. Maybe it's designed to print a page that shows you that? Rebar 3 shell. LE start link. All the brackets. Okay. Localhost 3000. Not found. Okay. That's Oh, maybe this is... No, this is an answer from the server. It looks like we have things like hello world. Okay, so yeah, there is not a nice page with documentation of what URLs it supports. You're just going to have to look at the code and figure it out. So they do a whole bunch of... Oh, headers.html. User-defined behavior. Request peer. Ah, different things there. Event callbacks. Timer sleep. I'm saying get arg. So I'm assuming that's name equals there. Yep. Okay. So that's a whole bunch of example stuff. They've got the simplest possible thing, a simple-ish thing here. App.source. Okay. Support. Oh, I might have to do, because this minimal callback module. Start Erlang, sup, start link. So that would be a module. Edit source. Behavior LA handler. Delegate to our function, get hello world. And we can leave that for testing purposes. And this was minimal. Okay, no references left to that. Supervisor child spec. Fancy app soup. Ah, soup is supervisor. Soup. Behavior supervisor, export start link init. Module init. Do I not have to declare my imports? Maybe not. Alright, callback. Oh, so maybe I should call this proxy callback, since they've kind of been doing that with their other things. Source. Proxy callback. All right, so now we have to go back to, is it rebar compile? Halt. Rebar 3 compile. And then now we got to go back to rebar. Did it just make a binary? Is that how that works? Build. .app. I guess this is getting more into basic Erlang stuff than rebar specifically. We need like basic all right, Erlang shell. This is all shell stuff. Okay, there's a module. But right now we're just running stuff at the shell. How do you actually run an Erlang program? In fact, how do I? Compare numbers. Unix shell is close enough. Compile. Right, because Erlang compiles to Beam, so it's a virtual machine. So it would be Erl. Module hello, export hello world. Without a shell and past more switches. Minus S. Erlang CORS Proxy? What do we... I'm not looking at you right now. We need the app. It exports start and stop. their hello world. Crash dump, init terminating and do boot. Out compiling it by using eScript. So Rebarth did a compile. Alright, so the fact was actually not useful there. Compile and run. Okay, there's a rebar compile. Where to load BA beam files from? Oh my, this is interesting. Okay. Ebin. Terminal 1. It's a server client. Okay. Well, this is in the shell run. So we can... Project uses gen listener TCP ebin. But that's this project. That's a pretty rough start. How do I compile and run Erlang program? An external program. Sample programs? Run the Erlang program. And this is going to come down to use a package. So right now it seems like the only way to do anything with this... Oh. No, I exited that shell, so that's fine. Is to go to our server and do rebar 3 shell. Nope. Nope, okay, sure. It wasn't done printing yet. Equals... This should be Erlang CORS Proxy Callback. No. Wait. Start. What are the arguments? Maybe I don't have arguments. Site cannot be reached. Oh, start link 0. Empty arguments. Start link 1. Oh, it's just start. And it's start 2. Start type start args. Well, it takes start type of start args and then does nothing with it. So, CORS proxy start. Oh, proxy app. Wait. Yeah. Oh, okay. So partly I was specifying the wrong thing, and then what does the default... Oh, that's another hello world. Hello world. Okay, so I probably wasn't doing app as the module when I was trying to do the compile command. Yeah. And it terminated in boot. S doesn't start the application but calls a function. Oh, so I should actually just not be doing that? Well, the function name will default to start. Arguments list will be the empty list. Oh, and start... No, because we need to start 0 if it's the empty list, or start 1 maybe? Start 2. Undef start. Erlang no shell eval minus s init stop. Alright, so we still don't know how to actually run the program. But we can at least run it from the shell, and then we would have to the next step, I guess we'd try to figure out how to make, well, we've got examples of getting parameters. So then have to figure out how to make a request, get the result, and reply with it. But it is getting a little bit late for me. So that is going to be it for now. Thanks to Haskin TV, Streamius Leopard, Two Left to Cry, Dog and Lake, Pixelogic Dev, Cat Knox, Diddly Tacos, Ocerat Gaming, One Jellybean, Lizzie Life for hosting me. Let me see. I want you. This is what my schedule has historically been like. It's programming in the mornings and gaming in the afternoons. Wednesdays are usually Astroneer, although I'm tempted to stop doing that just because there's so much stuff to do. Times are US Central, but hopefully you can extrapolate from the red line for your local time zone. Let me see if I can make any recommendations. What is that schedule? It's a bit off yet. So what do we got? All right, well, looks like... oh, do I have a schedule? I don't have a schedule for that one. Looks like Ned Makes Games is making games. So this is someone I found relatively recently, so I don't remember particulars offhand. But it's somebody that I found in the programming directory and thought he was doing fairly good. You know, generally I'm looking for people who are, you know, not blasting music, although sometimes, you know, I'll accept playing music. You know, doing some degree of talking while they're coding and things like that. So if you're looking for someplace cool to hang out, that's someplace cool to hang out. Thanks for hanging out with me, and maybe next time.